What's going on, guys? My name is Alden Aero and welcome to another episode of my FIFA 15 career mode with Manchester United. As we start off this episode, we're taking on Newcastle at Old Trafford. I can't remember what the score against Newcastle was when we played them the first time this season, but I do recall them being quite difficult to play against, and I had that in mind going into this game. So we set up with the 4-1-2-1-2 formation, which I don't use very often, but I've sort of adapted to maybe using it every time we come up against that 4-5-1 with the triangular shape in the middle, like as this one that Newcastle have, which is the same formation that Sunderland played, and obviously we had a terrible time playing against them. The signing of Filip Jurisic or whatever in midfield means that Sissoko actually plays as a central midfielder now for Newcastle, which is pretty cool because him being a winger for 5 years was incredibly frustrating for me because that's not his natural position at all. But what are you going to do? They hit the post in the 20th minute from new signing Jurisic, who was actually making his debut in this game, and then we came forward about 6 minutes later with Wayne Rooney on the ball, treading it in to Javier Hernandez, who scores with the outside of his right foot, making it 1-0 to us in quite a pleasant fashion, if I do may say so. What the hell is this celebration, by the way? I know it's the Jimmy Bullard thing, but I don't know why it's one of the main celebrations on FIFA. Like, I was like, oh, I'll press this button and see what this does, and it did that celebration, and that's why I only ever do the same celebration every time, is because I think those celebrations are stupid. But I do think there should also be other better celebrations, but that's just the way that it is, you know. Yesterday, I think it was, I listened back to my video, my career mode video, and if I record a video, that's it. I render it, I upload it straight away. I never listen to them to make sure they're okay or anything like that, which is really bad. If you want to be a YouTuber, like, don't do that. By the way, look at that goal from Abeid, the Algerian midfielder, who I seem to remember actually scored a sensational goal against us in the first game as well against them. But that was a really nice finish. But yeah, so I talk really fast. How the hell do you guys keep up with that? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing that I did. People tell me that I do it a lot, but I just think that they're being over dramatic or whatever. But no, I actually do talk really fast, and that's really weird, and I don't know, I'm sorry if anyone can't keep up with that. But look in the 44th minute of this game, as Signorini tried to charge through the Newcastle defence and got shut down, but a misplaced pass finds Javier Hernandez, and this time his goal was amazing. The outside of his right boot once again, almost kind of a carbon copy of the first if it were a little bit further out and a little bit more powerful. But this was an absolutely fantastic strike from distance as the Mexican gets his second goal of the game overall, and he's actually gotten a few braces this season but failed to get a hat-trick, which is kind of a shame for him, because I think the only player to have gotten a hat-trick so far this season is Wayne Rooney, which is mental because our South American strikers, well, I call Mexico South America, do with that what you will. Maybe it's the middle of America, it's in the middle of the Americas, I don't know, but what are you going to do? I guess it's North America. Whatever. Our strikers from the Americas have such good records, albeit Villalba is now out injured or whatever. But yeah, it's just shocking that Wayne Rooney, who hasn't really contributed anything this season, has managed to get the only player to have netted a hat-trick. But in the 90th minute of this game, Javier Hernandez plays the ball into Jeffrey Schlupp, who comes in and scores to put the game beyond all doubt and make us the winners over Newcastle as we extend our goal lead to 2 in this tie. But that was a really good finish from Schlupp, and he's just so good, and I'm so happy to have an option of him being on the bench. It's just so much better than not having him. At first, when people were like, you should sign Schlupp, he's a cult hero, blah blah blah, I was like, yeah, but I'm Man United now and I should probably get better players. But then you remember stuff like Man United signed David Bellion at one time, you know, like players, and Jeffrey Schlupp has even had a trial with Man United before. So if he were to have gotten a record as good as he has in the game in real life, you know, Man United might sign him. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But the next game is against Stoke at the Britannia Stadium. And in the first minute of this game, the ball comes into Andre Schürrle inside the box, and he does a Ronaldo chop to get around Muniz, but gets brought down. And initially, I thought the referee didn't award the penalty here because it seemed to take him some time to do it. But he does give the penalty. He books Muniz, which is fair enough. It was a very late tackle, and the Spaniard on this receiving end of a yellow card, kind of lucky not to be red because of the position of the ball. But I don't think Schürrle was going to score from there. There was no replay either, which is quite annoying because I like to watch the replays of penalties just to be sure, because they do that in real life constantly. But Javier Hernandez scores from the spot, and once again we take the lead. We go 1-0 up against Stoke, who have been quite a strange outfit to play against. Like, sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really bad, although you could probably say that to half the teams on FIFA. Shirley gets brought down once again by Munisa once again in the 15th minute, and the referee is just like, here you, like, get to fuck, mate. The referee's Scottish for this game. But yeah, Munisa walks after 16 minutes, and like, there's been a few times where teams have gone down to 10 men where I've been playing against them, and it's actually made the game so much more open and so easier to play, but that was not the case with this game. If anything, it closed it off a lot more. I suppose Stoke probably have some sort of a defensive mentality in this game due to the nature of their years under Tony Pulis. It's probably programmed in there, I would imagine, so they just kind of parked the bus a little bit, and it was very difficult to get anything past them. But on the half-hour mark, the ball gets swung in by Shirley. Johnny Evans goes up with the header, he hits off the post, and it comes out to Rojo, who from distance sees his shot saved, and then Shirley misses an open goal, but sure, what can you do about that? He hit it really weirdly on the volley as well. It's quite annoying, I wish it had went in, but look at Powell's strike in the 44th minute from such a distance. It would have been amazing if that went in. And then in the 45th minute, just inside stoppage time, Javier Hernandez runs forward around Shea, gets the shot in before Shawcross can tackle him, and then shot and clears it, and that's some serious alliteration going on right there. Then we come up to the very final minute of stoppage time with Cruz's shot striking off the post from distance. He is some player as well. I looked at him, and his contract's actually expiring at the end of this season, so I could have gotten him in January, but he is like 31, so what are you going to do? But we come up to the 90th minute of the game, inside stoppage time at the end of the half, with the ball coming to Dybala just on that left hand side behind Ryan Shotton, and he gets into a really good position, but unfortunately he's left footed, so I couldn't shoot with his right foot because he's only got a 2-star weak foot. But it comes out to Rojo anyway, who runs into the box and manages to get a strike. The goalkeeper saved it, and sadly Timo Huppertz couldn't get that acrobatic, spectacular effort off, otherwise it could have been 2-0. But the game ended 1-0 regardless, and we go up against Sunderland next, because that's all we do nowadays, is we play games against Sunderland. That's all that ever happens on my channel. I feel like that's all I ever do in my life anymore, is I just play against, you know, the teams from Tyneside and Wearside. Like, that's just what happens pretty much. But Sunderland's team is incredible. I've mentioned it, like, obviously in the last episode, and it just occurred to me that they're playing Connor Wickham on the left wing. What the fuck is that about? But yeah, Jack Rodwell in midfield, he's a bit of a unit, isn't he? Has anyone ever played against him and found that he's literally Messi? Like, I don't get it. But in the 10th minute of this game, Timo Huppertz comes bombing down the right hand side of the pitch with support in the middle from Hernandez, who does win the header, but sadly sees it deflect off a defender and out for a corner kick. Then a few minutes later we came forward once more with Wayne Rooney getting in ahead of Davies, but then eventually lagging behind Davies due to his lack of pace, and his shot was saved by Pantilimon in the Sunderland goal. Then we come up to the 20th minute of the game as Cedric comes forward, and he gets the opportunity to cross, but he goes back to Mavrias, who plays it into Jack Rodwell, who scores with Sunderland's first shot of the entire game. Isn't that really neat? Isn't that so good for them? Aren't you so happy for Sunderland? Like, wouldn't you not at all be enraged if this happened to you all the time, every time you play against Sunderland, and Jack fucking Rodwell becomes the greatest player in the world? But that's what happens. What are you going to do about it? He ended up making it 1-0. I wasn't even surprised. I was just furious. And then 6 minutes later, they came forward once more with Connor Wickham on the ball this time. He plays it into Jack Rodwell, and the diving header from the greatest player in the world is saved by David De Gea. And then a few minutes later, they came forward again with Mavrias on the ball as he takes on Luke Shaw very well, then gets tackled. Shaw eventually clears it. Chalobah plays a very patient pass out, which is intercepted by a Sunderland player. It comes to Mavrias, who plays it to Rodwell. He plays it into Van Wolfswinkel. The back heel goes into Rodwell, and the most intricate fucking passing move of the century is scored by Sunderland. And it was Jack Rodwell adding to his tally, making it a brace for him for the afternoon. Then we come up to the 52nd minute of the game as the ball comes to Jack Rodwell once again as he plays it into Kasami, who swings it in towards Van Wolfswinkel, but his header hit off the crossbar, and eventually we get it away. And I was hoping from here to try and get some kind of positive play going, and Timo Huppertz picked up the ball as he runs at Robson, does quite well to get round him, and uses his dribbling ability in the box to get into a shooting position, but sadly his shot went wide, which was also incredibly surprising. Then we got a corner kick in the 72nd minute as it got swung in towards Shirley. His header was cleared away, and it comes out to Rooney, who plays it into Nick Powell. His shot was saved, and Shirley was there with the rebound, and this time we finally do get a goal, and we pull the goal back, grab the ball, bring it up to the halfway line, and just try and attack once more with Jared Romeo on the ball in the final 10 minutes of the game. He plays it into Dybala, who finds Andre Shirley, who takes it round every defender in the box and fires it into the back of the net. And I was going to pick the ball up, but not before I just rubbed rubbed it in a little bit more that I had scored, and then we just decided to move on, and I kept the all-out attack mentality going just to try and properly stick it to Sunderland because of the fact that they've been so fucking frustrating to play against. And in the 89th minute of the game, it comes into Nick Powell. He squares it into Dybala, and Paulo Dybala, the Argentinian player, scores in the final minute of the game to put us into the lead, having come back from 2-0 down, which was sensational because we've had so many late winners this season, and this is just the latest in a long line of them, and I just could not be happier about that fact because this was such a frustrating match to play against. But we do end it with a victory, and that is extremely important, and a huge part in the sort of development of this series overall, because we've only lost 2 games in the league, and that was my biggest slip up so far, and it's looking pretty well for us. We're only 1 point ahead of Arsenal, but we're playing incredibly well, and we get some very, very, very good news to end the episode as we find that Hector Villalba has been cleared to play, and he will in all probability play, or at least feature in our next game against Cardiff City, which is in the FA Cup. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that in the next episode. If you are, please do leave a like, that would be much appreciated. I've been El Dinero, thanks for watching.